A pleasant good evening from Soccer County, where it's Snowbird Derby Day and a major six-pointer in USL League One play awaits. It is Westchester hosting FC Naples, and tonight's match is presented by Northwell Health. We say hello and welcome from the stadium at Memorial Field. Alongside Eric Dobransky, I'm Sam Goldfarb. It's the second Snowbird Derby meeting of the year, and perhaps one of the more consequential ones. The first, a narrowly contested affair in Naples.
And for FC Naples, it was the display of balance that they're going to want to replicate. Made the play that was the difference with the goal, and then it was one of their 5 clean sheets on the season, and for Westchester, conceded right before the break, changed the narrative of the match completely.
William Arevalo striking on the stroke of halftime. That the lone difference-making moment. That started before a Naples skid that just ended last Wednesday night. And when you look at these recent runs of form, for Naples, they had lost 7 straight league matches before finally winning on August 5th. For Westchester, it's not prettier either.
And for both these teams wanting to make a playoff push, they're going to need to excel in the details and the fine margins. Westchester has begun to display a steadying defensive presence. Now want to see the uptick in offensive output. Then for FC Naples, their away form needs to improve. Last win on March 21st, third match of the season. They're going to find that complement of being aggressive, but also tough to break down.
It is a Westchester side that has changed its shape. Jonathan Jimenez now leads the line.
Yeah, the role has changed, but the qualities and the commitment on and off the ball have not. They challenge every ball, which makes it very difficult for any back line, then presents the tactical and technical thoroughness to be a threat in and around the box.
And on the other end of things, for Naples interim headman Zach Gordon, he's pushed Aiden Macias further forward, and he's liked what he's seen.
That freedom will only enhance his playmaking ability. Second on the team in overall chance creation, a sound decision maker, which makes him dangerous with those late arriving runs in the attacking box, but also provides that balance through the middle, which is going to be vital tonight if they want to earn 3 points.
Well, we are just about set for kickoff in the second and final scheduled Snowbird Derby matchup of the year. One of the more consequential meetings between these two sides throughout the rivalry's young history. Stick with us, lineups and kickoff when we return from Westchester County.
Eligible for Medicare? Here's a great new reason to be happy. You may qualify for money-saving programs that could lower your Medicare costs. Just talk to a Health First specialist about programs like Extra Help, Epic, and more. To learn how New Yorkers like you can save, call 1-844-434-6399. Health First Medicare Advantage Plans, where healthy starts.
Come on, get happy.
300. That's about how many events the Community Police Relations Foundation has done in just the last year.
Tens of thousands of positive interactions between law enforcement and the communities they serve. We exist to break down barriers, to humanize the badge, to foster trust, understanding, and lasting relationships. It's changing how communities see the uniform every single day. Together, we can redefine the story and turn 300 moments of connection into tomorrow's 3,000.
Raising health means elevating the care that we can get in our backyard. The Westchester Soccer Club is part of the United Soccer League that has now expanded into Westchester.
It's a brand new USL One team competing all across the country, bringing the love for the sport of soccer to the area.
Northwell is going to provide them the best care possible, going to the games, making sure that we're on site for each home game. If an injury pops up, we get those players in immediately.
The partnership between the Westchester Soccer Club and Northwell Health is very exciting.
Northwell's vision is to raise health. So we offer the full gamut of orthopedic services, serving the community in Westchester. That's where my family lives, that's where I live, and that's my purpose here.
Welcome back to Westchester County, where we are just about set for kickoff in the second Snowbird Derby matchup of the season between Westchester SC and FC Naples, a pair of sides separated by just 1 point in the USL League One table. And now it's time for our starting lineups presented by RXR Realty, Westchester's first choice for housing solutions. And there is a new signing in the middle in Piero Elias.
And let's see what this midfield will present. Armas, that disruptor, that presence could free up Elias and McGlynn to be even more aggressive going forward. And then Evans and Guzan providing that width. Their quality is clear, but the decision-making in those wide areas will be key tonight.
On the opposite end of things for interim headman Zach Gordon, it's an unchanged 11 from that victory over AV Alta last week.
And it's going to be a tale of efficiency in both halves. Delgado will guide the group defensively, then offensively. They're going to want to continue with the trend of chance creation. 30 shots in 2 matches, but only 7 of those shots were on target. So going to lean on Miglietti, O'Connor, Gray for that composure in the final third.
Miglietti leading the line after scoring the opener last Wednesday night in that 2-1 victory over AV Alta. And we are underway here from Westchester County. Westchester and FC Naples in perhaps one of the more important Snowbird Derby clashes of the rivalry's young history. Alongside Eric Dobransky, I'm Sam Goldfarb. And Eric, this is a major one. A pair of sides just around 9-8 points off the playoff places. 3 points could go a long way to closing that gap.
Yeah, and I don't want to say now or never in terms of if you're going to make moves, you got to make them now. But at some point, you have to start putting pressure on those teams above you and starting to create some sort of separation and insurance from those teams below you. But these are 2 teams that are trying to find consistency and form in both boxes, and tonight would be a fantastic night to showcase that.
It is a Westchester side that has been through its ups and downs of late. In fact, throughout the season, they've been through their ups and downs. Just 1 win in the last 8 across all competitions, and that includes that 2-0 defeat 2 weeks ago at Forward Madison, in which they went down to 10 men 19 minutes in. George Jokai mentioning that he felt his side actually managed going down to 10 so early pretty well, all things considered, but unfortunately that wasn't enough to get them a result.
And conceded that first half goal, but had hints of being very dangerous in the attacking third, being a player down, and didn't concede until the 86th minute. That second goal against Forward Madison that kind of pulled them all 3 points. But for both these teams, it's going to be about managing some of these earlier moments here. And you go back to the points and kind of the run of form for Westchester. Being at home has been tremendous for them. 5 wins here at home. It's going to be what they want, and be aggressive here on the front foot, ask a lot of questions, and flood the box with numbers.
This Westchester side, to your point, 5-2-2 at home. All 5 of their league victories this season coming at Memorial Field. As McGlynn looks over the top and Guzin drives it across the face, but no one there to redirect it in the cream commuter kits. Well, Guzin getting involved early and often, and that's a welcome sight for Westchester fans. As you get your first proper look at George Jokai, someone who's building a very locally based project. He's someone who likes to give kids with experience either growing up in the Westchester area or playing college soccer in the Westchester area opportunities. And he's using this as a beacon of opportunity for talents littered throughout Westchester County. He himself, of course, also knows the talent around this area quite well.
Well, rich in talent. And then when you get the community involved, everybody surrounding the opportunities, I mean, you already have the community buy-in, and then you have the quality of the players in the surrounding areas. I mean, you have the opportunity to build something special here in Westchester. And we talk about the playoff push, but this is a long-term project for Westchester, and one that is starting to really come to fruition. And you see the style of play, the possession numbers. I mean, now, sometimes that's the hardest piece, is that final piece. The final third, but also how having the ball and being so ball dominant then affects results, and starting to turn kind of draws into 3 points and those losses into draws. It's just kind of seeing that next level of production.
And he's spoken to us about how either way, regardless of whether or not they pick up points in the coming weeks, he's not hitting the panic button because, as you've said, this is a long-term project. He's been entrusted to build this from the ground up after a season where Westchester finished bottom of the year last year, bottom of the league last season, and feels that there have been real signs of promise. Does feel that they can make a playoff push, but even if things go awry, there is the general thought that they can still make inroads in the coming years. As you see Connor McGlynn get amongst it early and often.
I'm very interested to see how his role plays out with the introduction of Elias. Does that free him up and kind of take some attention from him where he can be? He's already influential in both halves of the field, but We've already seen that playmaking to Guzin there early. See what he can present on and off the ball.
Well, it is now time for tonight's injury report presented by Northwell Health, and none officially reported for either side, so that's a welcome sight. As you see this long throw come in for Naples, headed away by Daniel Baumann, the makeshift center back once again tonight. Yearwood, Trinidad and Tobago international, and he can't quite pick out Julian Cisneros on the far side. Well, conversely, for all the ups and downs Westchester's endured, Eric, the same can be said for FC Naples, a squad that opened the year in red-hot fashion under Matt Poland, top of the league around early April, but then following their Snowbird Derby victory over Westchester on May 23rd, lost 7 consecutive league matches, sent them tumbling well south of the playoff line, and finally, last Wednesday, able to win in thrilling fashion against AV Alta. Andres Farine providing their first victory in over 2 months. And we'll see how interim headman Zach Gordon can push on as they seek what would just be a second road victory of the year, should they prevail tonight. As here is your first look at Jonathan Jimenez getting on the ball for Westchester. Sachets to the byline and cuts it back. Guzin ran out of real estate and away by Taylor Gray.
I wanted to briefly touch on that FC Naples form early on the season, red hot, and then faded quite quickly. And it's always fascinating when you see stylistically how teams want to present themselves throughout a season and the trends and themes that play themselves out. Because when you want to be free-flowing and provide some of that freedom offensively, you have to be tidy in some of the big defensive moments. And this is an FC Naples team that has conceded 31 goals, top 5 in the league, and at a -10 goal differential, and that's something that doesn't necessarily take you out of the playoff picture, but obviously clearly puts them in the scenario they're in right now.
Yeah, probably 3.
With only 1 road win, and that coming in the 3rd match of the season at Richmond, 1-0. You're gonna need to start collecting some points away from Naples.
We mentioned there was a coaching change early in the summertime, and Zach Gordon, the former assistant of Matt Poland, been promoted to interim head coach starting in mid-July. And he's spoken about how they've retooled this Naples side to become a little more possession-oriented, ball-dominant. Last season, of course, in their historic inaugural year in which they made it to the USL League One semifinals, they were known for their defensive solidity and their counterattacking ability. But you've already mentioned real defensive issues that have really plagued them throughout the summertime. So Zach Gordon has embraced a more possession-oriented approach that he feels has yielded real success and an uptick in their performances. Case in point, that victory over AV Alta.
I was just about to say, this league and this profession is always about what have you done for me lately, and when you look at that AV Alta result, I mean, what a fantastic result, and the resilience that they showed, the resolve. I mean, talk about stacking performances and stacking momentum. That, I know it's only 1 match, but that is going to be a match that they're going to look at with a AV Alta's team that find themselves above the playoff line. Went toe-to-toe with them.
Sis switches the play here, and here is that ball-dominant approach. O'Connor's cross, it evades Marinelli, and it fell for Taylor Gray, who took a touch wide, and it is just a corner. Could have been far more calamitous for Westchester, though. It is time for our first ice-air corner kick of the match, keeping Westchester cool and comfortable. Will be Kevin O'Connor, who will take it. He's been the go-to from dead ball scenarios all year long for Naples. In-swinger. It is dangerous. Jennings got his head to it first, though. Out of harm's way for now. Well, fans, it is now time for our keys to the game presented by Health First. Eric, what do you have for us?
for Westchester, be brave on the ball, but discipline. This is an athletic FC Naples side, so you don't want to unnecessarily punish yourself with some of the giveaways, but also the way that you move the ball, be ruthless in those moments. And then for Naples, score first. This is a Westchester side that is 0-9-1 when conceding first. As we've seen a reckless foul here and an early yellow.
Piero Elias, the new signing from Sporting Jacks, clattering right into Gio Miglietti.
Run up and you see that head-to-head contact in both players. That is quite a challenge right there, and early yellow. Elias, and you gotta hope that Miglietti is okay to continue, because there's some contact right there.
Piero Elias joining the club on Wednesday afternoon. Spent the first half of the year with Sporting Jacks, but well known for his time in the New York City FC youth and reserve ranks. And on that occasion, just barreling into the lad leading the line for Naples in Gio Miglietti. It's a real point of concern for Miglietti. It's a Naples squad that has been lacking a true target man all season long, and Miglietti has shown flashes of being able to lead the line in real threatening fashion. Right now, he is down in a considerable bit of discomfort.
He serves as that reference point, and anytime you have a central forward that can do that, you do look at the goals and the statistics that kind of lend themselves to that position, but kind of the stats away from stats, goals from other places, teammates, areas, the attention that you occupy, he does so much of that thankless work. You can see Zach Gordon and his staff. You see, you're going to start getting an idea of whether he's okay to continue as the evaluation and assessment continues. So you're going to want to make sure that you have ideas in mind if you do have to bring him off this early.
As of now, he seems content to keep going, so that's a welcome sight for Naples fans. And there will be a set piece to follow, so a real chance to ask questions of this Westchester defense.
And these are two teams that excel on set pieces. Corners, free kicks, dead ball restarts. I mean, they do a terrific job of disguising runs, bumping runners, creating space, freeing themselves up.
There's two in the vicinity, one of which is Kevin O'Connor, the other of which appears to be Mark Torres. He is driven into the mix. Just headed over by Uteritz. And the final touch off of the new Naples center back. There's your first glance at the man between the sticks for Westchester. Luca Marinelli, his 14th consecutive league start for Westchester. Began the season actually without a pro contract, but due to injuries to Andrew Hammersley as well as Matias Molina, he's been brought in, and he's slowly become George Jokai's preferred option there. Someone who's a little undersized, but is fearless, and George Jokai loves how proactive he is between the sticks.
And a consistent evolution of not only just the goalkeeper position, but every position within the game of football. See how much he has to use his feet and be that playmaker. Obviously, in a situation like this, just make sure you're secure. Don't give up anything unnecessarily, but goalkeeper's ability to be on the ball and be calm and composed is so vital, especially in the way that Westchester plays.
It's one of the many success stories out of USL and USL Championship and League One in terms of 25-day contracts. He joined initially on a 25-day in late April and now has become the go-to between the sticks for the Golden Apple. There's another set piece to contend with, though, for Westchester. is Torres, headed away by Alexei Armas. As far as Julian Cisneros, who's never shy about getting forward from fullback. Sis with a pop. Ultimately relatively tame. This is Powder for Westchester. Guzin. Well, fans, Westchester Soccer Club is excited to partner with Redefined Meals, our go-to destination for fresh, healthy, prepared meals. Scan the QR code on the screen for a free meal at Redefined Meals in Hartsdale. For those just joining us, we welcome you to the stadium at Memorial Field in Westchester County. It is a key Snowbird Derby tussle between Westchester and FC Naples. Sam Goldfarb, Eric Dobransky bringing you all of the action tonight. Two clubs separated by just 1 point in the USL League One standings. And as we've already mentioned, if one of these two teams can secure a victory, it goes a long way to kickstarting a possible playoff push. A pair of squads that have been through their ups and downs this year, but a win would shrink an 8 or 9 point gap, depending on which team you are, between yourself and the playoff line. There is Guzin for Westchester, and a sliding tackle from Hal Uteritz does the job. Joined the club on July 31st and has quickly become a mainstay in the heart of defense the last couple matches, as they slowly get Luca Mastrantonio back up to full health.
And another player that we'll see within both these squads, the versatility. I mean, we've talked about Baumann, his ability to play in midfield, now back at center back. It's, for these players, it's the ability to influence at a high level, but positionally, as these teams have navigated through the season, be effective in moments like this where you find yourself below the playoff line, you're on the road, you need to get a result. What pressure here?
It's turned over cheaply to Macias. And Westchester rather fortunate. Naples couldn't get numbers for it in time.
And sometimes that's the negative of winning the ball in a situation like that, where it is very isolated. You get possession, but it's 2v2, 1v1, and you're still yards and yards away from goal, from generating anything. You just can't get the numbers to join you.
Jennings. Well, fans, you can turn to the CBS Sports Network on Sunday, August 16th at 7 p.m. Eastern for a USL League One clash. Union Omaha looks to continue their run at the top as they host Richmond Kickers, who look to knock the Owls off their perch. Catch all of the action on CBS Sports Network Sunday, August 16th. Should be a fun one in USL League One. Union Omaha once again amongst the title challengers. It seems like that is a consistent statement we utter every year as Guzin sachets forward and wins Westchester's first corner of the night. It is now Westchester's first Ice Air corner kick. Ice Air keeping Westchester cool and comfortable. Let's see what they can conjure from this. A team that has been quite prolific this year on dead ball situations. 6 goals scored from corners. Will be Dean Guzin to take. In-swinger to the heart of the area and headed away. Rather anticlimactic in the end.
And I know we've talked about the playoff picture here early and how much 3 points would mean to both these teams. But when you look at the records, but you also look at the standings overall from all of the teams, the reason 3 points become so valuable is some of the results that you haven't been able to turn losses into draws or those draws into 3 points. So now obtaining that full allotment of points just becomes a premium for both these teams as the season continues to kind of dwindle itself down. So the margins for error are much finer. So kind of finding that blend and that balance between being aggressive and throwing numbers into the attack but also blowing up some of those loud defensive plays, the counter-attacking plays, the turnovers, being measured with how you go about managing a match.
Here is Armas. Numbers stroll forward now for Westchester as they start to grow into this. Elias. Guzin. Sprays it wide, and Noah Powder chasing after it. Has options to aim at. It's a low cross that ran all the way through. May have taken a slight touch off Kyle Evans. Elias again. Well, Eric, there's a lot of conversations about patterns of play and system changes. And Westchester has been known under George Jokai to be very positionally flexible, but they got very used to playing a 3-5 back system for the better part of the summer. And now they've shifted back to a 4-back. And Jonathan Jimenez in particular, moving from a wing back spot to a center forward spot. That has to be a really interesting adjustment to make mid-season.
It is, and obviously player qualities and attributes are a big key. Those translate to any positional play, but it's the starting point and the reference in terms of where you're getting on the ball, where you're kind of locating yourself, and that for Jimenez.
Reyes looks over the top, and Gray has a hit, just wide. He nearly caught Westchester out there.
Well, there on the flip side for FC Naples, case in point, I mean, you just get a bit of a separation here along the side of the 18-yard box and just pulling this wide.
Well, that was your look at the instant replay presented by Silvio's Italian Restaurant in Yonkers. But even there, right, you've changed your entire defensive structure out of possession. Maybe it takes an extra second to adjust.
Well, and that's a great point, because what I was going to kind of end with the Jimenez thought was it does change and affect the relationships around you. Defensively, who's around making the plays, who's supporting you. There's just an overall understanding, and that's where you're getting it in real time with the change of role for Jimenez.
Here's Torres for Naples. Omar Sis, former standout with Charlotte Independence, who's made his way to Naples. Gray flashes this across, and he does pick out Kevin O'Connor. Wide for Gray once more. Clever touch from Miglietti. Cisneros. Looking for a way to break down this Westchester back line that is parked so deep at the moment. It's turned over, and maybe something brewing for the Golden Apple. Jimenez charging ahead, has Guzin for company. Jimenez tried to cut it across and did so far too late. Put a pin in that moment if you're Westchester.
And you could see what Jimenez was trying to do, but credit to FC Naples. Obviously self-inflicted that moment, but they've met it with the response you needed defensively.
Gray. He's looking for Macias and comfortably back to Marinelli.
Well, you had just talked about Westchester kind of being in their defensive half and seeing some of FC Naples having the ball, but it's those moments right there. Can you turn them over in some of those casual passes?
McGlynn. Back and forth we go. He splits the lines for Guzin, but the offside flag is up. That was nearly a sensationally worked tally, but our linesman may have just denied Dean Guzin.
It starts with a defensive win. That first pass breaks pressure, and then we already saw it early on, that relationship between McGlynn and Guzin. First it was a ball over the top, and then this one threaded right through, and Guzin just a step
let
offside.
me know if and when you want that fan shot still.
That was a silky spell of play.
Okay, cool.
Dean Guzin just doesn't time his run properly. Westchester, though, twisting the screws, and this has suddenly become a back-and-forth, end-to-end affair. Not necessarily the track meet we would have expected coming into tonight.
Well, it's intriguing because FC Naples, when they get themselves in the attacking half, they've been a bit more patient and willing to go from side to side, testing different spaces, whereas in Westchester, as soon as they get in the attacking half, they have been very direct and very aggressive, just like that.
Case in point, partner.
And I mean direct with a purpose. And I think sometimes when you say direct in the game of football nowadays, everybody kind of thinks about smashing it forward and kind of being vertical all the time. But they have seen space that they've wanted to access, and at a rapid rate. We saw it with the Guzin opportunity, and then we just saw that with that ball over the top there.
Yearwood loses out. Evans got onto it and is dispossessed, though. Now Torres for Naples. Gray. Cisneros continues his run. First time cross. Falls for Miglietti. Osorio flips it forward. Westchester can play out. Here's Evans, the young 20-year-old star who has jumped off the page for Westchester all season long. Powder has plenty for company and continues forward. Ball was won cleanly according to our referee. And Gray the other direction. Bauman there first. These first 25 minutes and change are any indication, we could be in for an all-time classic in the Snowbird Derby.
Though we sit at 0-0, these two teams, to the point you just made, have asked a variety of questions and have asked them in a fashion that kind of leave you thinking that this is going to be quite a match.
Guzin hunting Evans. May have overhit it. But he does get there, and he does have support. Kyle Evans. Now Elias. Guzin again. McGlynn. Lays it off to Noah Powder. Cuts it back to Dean Guzin on the edge of the area. And it's just knocked across and wide. There were two Westchester players going for it, and ultimately neither could redirect it on frame. Osorio is still down as well.
And you wonder if at the last minute, if that ball would have been left for Jennings. Obviously it does go off an FC Naples defender, but see Jimenez in there as a threat. Jennings always that far post, that late arrival, so difficult to track.
Tell you what, it looks like Osorio got there first and put his entire body on the line as well. It will be a Westchester corner. Another corner kick presented by Ice Air. Ice Air keeping Westchester cool and comfortable. Alexei Armas to do the honors. Within swing, flicked across, McGlynn there, and it's knocked in! Connor McGlynn, the goal machine, puts Westchester in front.
This all starts with quality delivery, whipped in with pace, and then you have the commitment to get to that near post, make first contact, influence where this ball ends up, and then what an opportunistic run for Connor McGlynn, occupying that far post. No question about that finish, putting his team up 1-0, so important to break the deadlock here 30 minutes in.
Connor McGlynn, the captain, enjoying a goal-scoring renaissance. That's now 10 on the season. He's tied for the lead in the USL League One's Golden Boot race, and he does them in all sorts of fashions, being from the penalty spot, out of open play, or corner kick, dead ball scenarios like that. He's just a savant in front of goal this year, and he rears his head once more.
Every time I think of Connor McGlynn, you think of some of the screamers that he hits from outside the 18-yard box, but you hit it dead on. Just the variety in which he presents. I mean, you don't know how to necessarily always deal with him as an opponent, because you step to him when he's far away from goal, but then he can play make, and then he can strike from distance. But then in situations like that, corner kick, he's ruthless in his ability to attack free space. You said it a few moments ago, 6 goals scored coming in to this match off of corners, now 7. And that is the way that you can put a stamp on a match.
Not quite at Ford Madison corner kick level goal scoring, but they're getting there. And Connor McGlynn in the right spot at the right side. Someone who's just known as the complete midfielder. A couple weeks ago, George Jokai saying he feels he's one of the most complete center mids in the entire league. This season, adding a goal-scoring punch that we didn't see consistently a year ago. A season that was altered by a midsummer injury. This year, though, he's been healthy and he's been fit and firing all year.
Well, and that's what you want to see from a player that continues to evolve. I mean, he's already a menace to defend, because if you overcommit to shutting him down, then it opens up opportunities for others around him. But knowing that his next step was to find that quality in finishing. But now let's see how Westchester plays with this lead. You score here in the first half. You've found good moments, but FC Naples have done the same. They've kind of knocked it around here in and around the 18-yard box. But Westchester doing a great job of defending their 18-yard box.
O'Connor was looking for Macias, and Daniel Baumann there first. Jimenez. Shoved down assertively by Uderitz. Well, fans, don't miss your chance to be part of the action when Westchester hosts Spokane Velocity at 7 p.m. on Saturday, August 29th. Tickets are on sale now. The next home match at Westchester County, and if you know anything about Westchester and home games, you know their performances tend to be very, very strong on this ground. 5-2-2 at home, now outscoring opponents by a 24-8 margin, including that Connor McGlynn opener. You've already spoken about how much better they are when they score first as well. Have not won a single match when conceding first. That won't be a problem here tonight, though.
And right now the problem shifts to FC Naples, who are winless as well when conceding first. Only have been able to pull away 1 draw when conceding first. But you say all those themes and the trends that I just said, and every game is just so different. It just plays out a storyline of its own. But some of those themes and trends do kind of tend to play themselves out match after match, especially this deep into the season.
We are beyond the half-hour mark, and for those just joining us, we welcome you to Westchester County. Eric Dobransky, Sam Goldfarb on hand. 1-0 to Westchester. Connor McGlynn on 29 minutes, striking from a corner kick. A flick on that found its way to the back post, and he knocked back across beyond the reach of Lalo Delgado. 10th on the season for Westchester's captain, Middle Village, New York native, making issues for the visitors here. Naples must play catch-up, which, as you mentioned, has been a challenge they've struggled with all year long. Osorio. Macias now coming a bit deeper. And here he is again. Picks out Cisneros, who is onside. Cisneros cuts back inside, but rockets it right at Marinelli. He passes his first test.
And this is what we've seen hints of from FC Naples, is their ability to penetrate inside the 18-yard box. But even when they get to those moments, Westchester has done a solid job of minimizing the threat past that. They've made it very difficult for FC Naples to upgrade the angle. They've kind of had to settle for some of these difficult chances, and then they found moments like this.
Elias with Jimenez and Evans for company. Now Evans, first time ball through to Jonathan Jimenez, and it's 2 for Westchester. Scintillating from the Golden Apple, and Jimenez strikes.
That has got to be one pleased head coach right there, because this is class and quality throughout. It starts with some defensive interventions from his side. You build through the third, but you do it with such rapid succession that you don't allow your opponent to get set. And what a ball played through. And then the timing of the run from Jimenez. We talked about the relationships and kind of occupying a different role for Jimenez. That is something that as time wears on, those relationships begin to develop, and you see it in runs and timing like that, and then you get the finish.
Simply brilliant. A sweeping symphony of a move, and Jonathan Jimenez strikes with his 4th goal of the season. We've spoke about how he got the bulk of that production in a wing-back role. And talking to George Jokai, he mentioned how the feedback from clubs at the higher level was they wanted to see him in a deeper lying role out wide. But in training, he's noticed that Jonathan Jimenez has been the most prolific of all of the forward options as a center forward. And now McGlynn trying from afar. Delgado does just enough to tip it over. It was nearly a third in the most jaw-dropping of fashions.
Well, my friend, we were just talking about the variety that Connor McGlynn presents, but the creativity and just the overall technique that it takes for that opportunity, and what a jaw-dropping moment that would have been.
Westchester fans of last season may remember J.C. Obregon scoring from about 60 yards out. McGlynn was not far off there. It is another ice air corner kick. This is Alexei Armas to take. Westchester scored off their last corner. Another in-swinger, this to the back post, falls for Dean Guzin, and they score again! It may have taken a touch, but they won't care, 3-0! Elias celebrating. He may have gotten the final touch, but either way, it is a third for Westchester.
And the second goal off a corner, and you just see overall commitment to cause havoc in and around the 6-yard box. Guzin the confidence to lace this one. You are right. Elias gets that final touch. All that pace and tempo off that Guzin take, and all you have to do is guide it on frame. And you see the embrace there.
It is a debut goal for Piero Elias, who joined the club earlier this week. Someone who has plenty of New York City roots, born and raised in the Big Apple, spent years in the youth ranks of New York City FC, 4 seasons in MLS Next Pro with NYCFC 2, and now back in the greater New York area and striking on his club debut.
Yeah, has that goal, but clearly Westchester playing in good rhythm, 3 goals overall, and different goals. The first, obviously, they've got 2 off corners. Now, say that one a bit later in the development. That through ball into Jimenez. I mean, what an impact this side has had 39 minutes in. So we see Zach Gordon having discussion with the assistant referee.
Well, this is quite the buzzsaw FC Naples has run into. A Westchester side that had won just one of its previous 8 across all competitions. But we know what they're capable of at home. You think back to mid-June, victories over the likes of Greenville by a 4-0 scoreline, 5-1 victors over Portland Hearts of Pine. Not to mention, in April, they put 5 past Corpus Christi. At this rate, they may be in to test that season record of goals. But Naples is looking for a response the other way. Here's Cisneros with plenty of space out wide. His cross cleared by Timchenko. Only as far as Mark Torres, though.
And I had touched on for FC Naples, it was going to be about efficiency on both sides of the ball. And right now we're seeing massive efficiency for Westchester. 5 shots on target, 3 goals, and 8 shots total. So efficient every category. This is a team that averages 4.6 shots on target per match. So they've already seen an uptick in that.
Bauman was looking long for Jimenez there. This directness with which Westchester has played tonight has created so many issues for Naples.
What a down press from Connor McGlynn. I mean, I don't know if we expect anything different from his two-way presence. Be that playmaker, but also down press and kind of disrupt.
Just feels like Westchester is first to every first and second ball at the moment. Elias, the most recent goal scorer. And he commits the transgression at the end of that. Well, fans, the best way to spend a summer night is watching your local team with your favorite people. Check out Westchester SC's group ticket offerings, especially if you haven't experienced the new VIP area. If you're just tuning in and you are a Westchester Soccer Club supporter, your eyes are not deceiving you. This scoreline does read Westchester 3, Naples 0. McGlynn, Jimenez, and Piero Elias, the 3 goal scorers. 3 goals in an 8-minute stretch for the Golden Apple to seize full control of this. As O'Connor puts it into the mixer, and it's away by Jennings. There was a foul against Naples before that transpired anyways.
When you look at 2 teams that are kind of chasing that playoff line as we have tonight in Westchester and FC Naples, you kind of look at defining moments in matches. We mentioned the previous matchup for both these teams, FC Naples taking that 1-0 advantage into the break. That is a defining moment in the match. It changes the narrative going to the break. It changes in the way you approach the second half. And for Westchester here at home tonight, they navigated and absorbed some defensive pressure. What a turnover again.
Evans charging ahead. Evans looking for an angle to shoot. Evans has a crack, and he just drags it across the face. Again, winning the ball back and creating a chance.
Well, and then also, Kyle Evans is not a player that we've talked about a lot in this match, and we know how dangerous he can be and the quality that he presents. Kind of put a bow on what I was making the point with both these teams. For Westchester, absorbed some of the defensive moments they needed to. FC Naples saw a lot of the possession. They still lead this match in final third entries with 28 to Westchester's 17. But they just did not allow anything to generate past that. They got themselves back into plays defensively, and now, mentioned it, in an 8-minute span, scoring 3 goals, and that defensive posture has kind of lended itself to this offensive explosion.
O'Connor was trying to break a line, and instead it's picked up by Yearwood. Sis. You have to wonder how much this ball-oriented approach has backfired on Naples, because it's left them a touch exposed, especially when they give it away.
And it has been thorough from Westchester because they've been able to be very sharp with that first ball with the regains. They've been able to play forward. They've been able to find that pocket of space, and they have been very explosive in the way that they've been able to climb into those spaces.
Well, approaching the final minute of the initial 45. And right now, Naples with plenty of questions to answer if they are to create any intrigue in this. Otherwise, Westchester will overtake them in the league table and climb within 6 points of the playoff line as things stand. As Marinelli reads the flight of that and collects. Has the feeling that if you are Naples, you absolutely need a goal before intermission to just have something to take in a halftime.
Yeah, you need to provide Westchester with some sort of doubt, because right now you've just not created that one big look or that one opportunity that kind of has your opponent looking, kind of questioning some of their defensive responsibilities. Right now, they are just flying and clicking on both sides of the ball. Westchester are.
Here's Bauman. Everyone now getting involved for the Golden Apple. McGlynn. Timchenko. Well, injury time is presented by Mar & Mar Attorneys at Law, fighting for every minute you deserve. It's 5 minutes that separate us from halftime. And Evans is hunting more carnage with options to aim at. Evans dancing to the byline. It's still Evans. Has it taken off his toes, but it is a Westchester corner.
We were just talking about FC Naples providing some doubt for Westchester. This is going to be an area for FC Naples that they are doubting themselves, because they've conceded 2 of their 3 goals on corner kicks, and maybe not off the direct delivery and direct first contact, but that even provides further doubt when you can't kind of win some of those second and third phases.
They've conceded now 7 goals off corners this year, twice tonight. Can Westchester make it a hat trick of corner kick goals before halftime? Armas again, this one taken short. And now sprayed back into the mix. Falls for Elias. Charging forward, Elias's cross is dangerous. Still knocked about and finally scrambled away by Naples. It was nearly a 3rd goal from a corner for Westchester, though. Now Torres. Is there an answer the other way? Miglietti. Loses out. Jimenez, one of the 3 Westchester goal scorers. Evans. Guzin. Jennings, first time pass forward. Here's McGlynn, looks over the top. Jimenez sprinting in behind, has Evans for company. He squares it to Evans, but it's right at the defender. And now Jennings commits the foul. Another positive spell of play from Westchester. And Evans could have made it 4. Well, fans can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XMFC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights. Plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XMFC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Here's O'Connor for Naples. His cross in, and Timchenko is there. Will be one final corner before the half is out for Naples. One final ice air corner kick before all is said and done. And it's Mark Torres doing the honors. In swinging ball to the back stick. Bauman makes himself an obstacle, and Jimenez away. Perhaps a long throw now on the cards for Julian Cisneros and company. He does arc it into the mix. It falls for Miglietti. Still after it. Torres. O'Connor, final minute of the added 5. Sis on the turn. Sis looking for an angle. Osorio. It's patient from Naples, but not very incisive. Macias. What can he conjure in the final minute of the added 5? O'Connor. Gray continues his run. Taylor Gray drives it goalward, but it is right at Luca Marinelli, and no issues for the Westchester goalkeeper.
A positive play for FC Naples, and something that they're going to want to continue going into the second half. They've just missed out on some of the decisive play in the final third. I mean, obviously defensively, they're going to have to be better with first ball pressure, because right now Westchester able to pick them apart and exploit a lot of different space. But that decisiveness in the final third is going to be big. And for Westchester, be comprehensive in how you approach the second half.
Halftime whistle sounds, and the Golden Apple lead 3-0. 3 goals in an 8-minute stretch by Connor McGlynn, Jonathan Jimenez, and the debutant, Piero Elias, separate these two sides. The Golden Apple making a major statement through the opening 45 of play. Well, that is where we will leave things here in the first half. A dominant Westchester display in the first half of action. 3 different goal scorers, and they do so in decisive fashion. Westchester leads 3-0. We will take a quick breather here from Westchester County, and when we return, a look around USL League One. As things stand right now, it's a party in Mount Vernon. Stick with us. We'll be right back on the other side of this break.
At Redefined Meals, we're not just making prepared meals. We're redefining them and raising the bar for what they can be.
Every dish begins with real ingredients, crafted fresh each day, redefining what real cooking means for busy lives.
Discover over 70 chef-crafted meals, freshly made, thoughtfully balanced, and surprisingly affordable.
Good food shouldn't slow you down. It should keep you going. No prep, no stress.
Redefine the way you dine.
Eligible for Medicare? Here's a great new reason to be happy. You may qualify for money-saving programs that could lower your Medicare costs. Just talk to a Health First specialist about programs like Extra Help, Epic, and more. To learn how New Yorkers like you can save, call 1-844-434-6399. Health First Medicare Advantage Plans, where healthy starts.
Come on, get happy.
Raising health means elevating the care that we can get in our backyard. The Westchester Soccer Club is part of the United Soccer League that has now expanded into Westchester.
It's a brand new USL One team competing all across the country, bringing the love for the sport of soccer to the area.
Northwell is going to provide them the best care possible, going to the games, making sure that we're on site for each home game. If an injury pops up, we get those players in immediately.
The partnership between the Westchester Soccer Club and Northwell Health is very exciting.
Northwell's vision is to raise health, so we offer the full gamut of orthopedic services, serving the community in Westchester. That's where my family lives, that's where I live, and that's my purpose here.
We welcome you back to Westchester County, where as things stand, it is a party at Memorial Field. Westchester leads FC Naples 3-0 in the second Snowbird Derby meeting of 2026. And now it's time to get a look around USL League One, starting with our standout performers in match week 23. Let's take a look at our team of the week in a matter of seconds. There have been a number of standout performers throughout USL League One, and just a number of players that have really earned honors in that stretch. But it has been a fantastic atmosphere here in USL League One, and at Westchester County you see the fans out in full force. It is now time to get a look at some of the highlights of match week 23 with our goal of the week, save of the week, and player of the month.
Gathering pace, AC Boise. More specifically, it's Tumimo Shaban, who twists out of one tackle, takes on another, takes a shot. That is a stop of the highest order for JT Arms. Wow!
Over Robles. Now Healy trying to facilitate the pass.
lifts it overnight, and it's in! A heads-up goal from Lilian Recall. Aguador playing it up ahead for Recall, and Recall picks up the pieces and scores! Lilian Recall wins one back for Fort Wayne.
Unreal. A jaw-dropping leveler. Stoppage time drop. Wonderful finish in the USL.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Dorado calls his own number, and City Stadium has turned into a frenzy.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Hay mucha fiesta, señor Martino. Hay sed de revancha, doctor. Pero falta gol. Estamos a esperar a Hugo. ¿Hugo Sánchez? Sí, tira para adelante. ¿Quién maneja? ¿Un futbolista? Llegamos por fin. Ay, bendito sea el chofer, doctor. Hugo, ¿regreso a las canchas? ¿Algún consejo?
Sí, confía y cree en ti.
¡Ey! ¡Pasa al norte! A donde me dé la oportunidad, pero listo para dar el paso. ¡Listo, vamos!
This is your moment. 300. That's about how many events the Community Police Relations Foundation has done in just the last year.
Tens of thousands of positive interactions between law enforcement and the communities they serve. We exist to break down barriers, to humanize the badge, to foster trust, understanding, and lasting relationships. It's changing how communities see the uniform every single day. Together, we can redefine the story and turn 300 moments of connection into tomorrow's 3,000.
Welcome back to Memorial Field, where at halftime, the Westchester faithful are rejoicing because their side leads 3-0 in this Snowbird Derby clash with FC Naples. And now we continue our look around USL League One with a look at some of the weekend scores. Well, this one is a lot more high scoring than a lot of the other fixtures in the league, with the exception of Charlotte brutalizing Sarasota.
I was going to say Charlotte Independence just continue to be in form offensively. 3 goals tonight add to their league leading statistics and goal scoring department. And then a lot of games deadlocked in matches that teams are going to be looking for all 3 points. Obviously, that Fort Wayne and Chattanooga match is a huge matchup for playoff implications, and 2 teams that are going to want to attack that second half and find that breakthrough.
And then the rest of the matches, as you mentioned, 0-0, then Spokane hosting Corpus Christi later tonight. Well, it is now time to continue our look around League One with our halftime update. Dan Lucas has some more information for us.
It is halftime in League One. We hope you're enjoying your match. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio with a look at the headlines. Spokane Velocity gave Colorado Springs a run in the quarterfinals of the Prinks Tires USL Cup, but it was a Panenka in the penalty kick shootout by Corey Bennett that sent the championship club through to the semifinals. Charlotte Independence fell 4-2 to defending Cup champ Hartford Athletic. Last weekend, Forward Madison's 9-match unbeaten run came to an end, and clubs are finding out how tough it is to get a result at AC Boise. Blake Bodley electrified the crowd with an 87th minute goal in that 2-1 Boise victory. That's 7 goals now in the final 15 minutes and stoppage time at home this season. Make no mistake, aside from that defeat, forward Madison is on the rise, and head coach Matt Glazer is recognized as our League One Coach of the Month for July. An incredible month for the Mingos with 5 victories in all competitions. Madison outscored opponents 13-3 in 4 league matches. Upcoming national spotlight games all on CBS Sports Network. Omaha hosting Richmond this weekend. Phoenix Rising in Colorado Springs in the championship on the 19th. That game is also on 2DN, and then it's Orange County and FC Tulsa on the 22nd. This is the USL Halftime Update. Let's get you back out to your match.
At Redefined Meals, we're not just making prepared meals. We're redefining them and raising the bar for what they can be.
Every dish begins with real ingredients, crafted fresh each day, redefining what real cooking means for busy lives.
Discover over 70 chef-crafted meals, freshly made, thoughtfully balanced, and surprisingly affordable.
Good food shouldn't slow you down. It should keep you going. No prep, no stress.
Redefine the way you dine.
300. That's about how many events the Community Police Relations Foundation has done in just the last year.
Tens of thousands of positive interactions between law enforcement and the communities they serve. We exist to break down barriers, to humanize the badge, to foster trust, understanding, and lasting relationships. It's changing how communities see the uniform every single day. Together, we can redefine the story and turn 300 moments of connection into tomorrow's 3,000.
Eligible for Medicare? Here's a great new reason to be happy. You may qualify for money-saving programs that could lower your Medicare costs. Just talk to a Health First specialist about programs like Extra Help, Epic, and more. To learn how New Yorkers like you can save, call 1-844-434-6399. Health First Medicare Advantage Plans, where healthy starts.
Come on, get happy.
At Redefined Meals, we're not just making prepared meals. We're redefining them and raising the bar for what they can be.
Every dish begins with real ingredients, crafted fresh each day, redefining what real cooking means for busy lives.
Discover over 70 chef-crafted meals, freshly made, thoughtfully balanced, and surprisingly affordable.
Good food shouldn't slow you down. It should keep you going. No prep, no stress.
Redefine the way you dine.
Back here in Mount Vernon, where at halftime, Westchester is in full control of their Snowbird Derby foes in FC Naples. A 3-0 advantage for the Golden Apple. And now it's time to get a look back at how that entire first half unfolded. And Eric, 3 goals in 8 minutes make a world of difference right now.
And they were sharp in their approach in both boxes. They navigated some early spells from FC Naples and then used this Timchenko first contact off the delivery. And then Connor McGlynn hitting that far post, tucking away the first goal of the match. So attacking that corner. And then we saw this a few moments before with the Guzin opportunity, but he was offside. And then Jimenez gets the run spot on, and then still has the finish to deal with. Tucks that one away for the second goal of the night. Set pieces again. FC Naples, they're going to be haunted by these 2 moments. And Westchester electric in their ability to flood the box, but also be very opportunistic and clinical in those moments. You get Guzin lacing it through, and then Elias with that slight touch just needs to put it on frame. Tucks away his first goal of the season.
His first goal on his debut, and you look at the halftime stats, they do tell the full story. Naples with more of the ball, but that almost has backfired on them so far.
It has, and for Westchester, it's been about some of the explosiveness that they've presented going forward. They haven't had to see a lot of the ball because some of the opportunities that FC Naples are giving them and the space that they're allowing them to exploit, you haven't had to be on the ball. You can go explode into that area and create.
Well, just about ready to get everything back underway for the second half. It appears Naples has made a change up top. Nicolas Liculia, the Frenchman, has been substituted on for Naples. Will be Westchester, though, that gets us back underway to kickstart the second half. Westchester hoping to see out a key victory over their playoff rivals in FC Naples. Meanwhile, Naples is hoping to kickstart what would be one of the biggest comebacks of the year in USL League One. We are back underway now. Sam Goldfarb, Eric Dobransky. bringing you the remainder of this one. And Eric, if you're Naples, you have to find a way to flip this script and flip it in a hurry.
Yeah, you have to do that within at least the first 10, 15 minutes. You have to score the next goal, put some pressure, give yourself efficient amount of time to get yourself back in this game and put pressure on Westchester, because right now they have not felt uncomfortable in this match. Yes, FC Naples have seen an uptick in the possession. They've seen kind of their work in and around the box come to fruition, but they have not been able to find that final pass into the attacking box, and that's a lot of credit to what Westchester is doing defensively.
Meanwhile, Westchester has been blistering on the counterattack, and they've created a number of headaches there. But Farine does win this back, a substitute for FC Naples, and weaves through two defenders. It is still Farine who goes down in the area, and an immediate point to the spot. So an instant impact from the substitute and a golden chance to at least pull one back from 12 yards.
And this is the pressure that you want to put on. Put on as a substitute to start this second half. Scored a goal in the last match, playing with that aggressiveness, front-footed nature, taking on two defenders, initiating some of that contact, and then now stepping up 12 yards away. Be confident and poised in this moment, because this is could be a situation where you put that doubt into Westchester very early on in the second half.
It is Andres Farine, the man who won the penalty and was just subbed on about 2 minutes ago, who stares down Luca Marinelli. Farine has been the go-to penalty taker throughout his 2 years with FC Naples. Of course, did score that heroic winner out of open play last Wednesday against Davy Alta. Can he create a roadmap back into it for Naples? Long run up from Farine, and he delivers. Well, there is a lifeline for FC Naples. They've trimmed the deficit to 2 goals, and Farine scores in back-to-back matches.
And what you do is not only provide that doubt that you're looking for, but also a bit of frustration, because you come off a first 45 for Westchester that you feel like you've dominated and controlled a lot of that match in terms of the quality in both boxes. What a finish there. Kind of get that stutter step, that slow approach, but you also get yourself a look at where the goalkeeper's leaning and trending towards.
Andres Farine has now eclipsed his goal tally across all competitions from a season ago. His 5th goal across all comps, his 4th in league play. And after scoring that 90th minute winner, he strikes for Naples, and maybe now wind in their sails. As you see, the subs that were made at halftime, Elias subbed off for Aiden Bora, who actually conceded that penalty for Westchester. Meanwhile, it's Macias who comes off for Laculia, and O'Connor, who strangely enough comes off for Andres Farine.
And then Elias playing on that yellow, obviously his first match with Westchester tonight, so how much of that was just going to be managing minutes and managing the overall first performance, but that was a quality first half. He was playing on the yellow, so you kind of take that into account. Don't want to put him in a position where he's got to pick up a
This is
second.
a long ball forward to Taylor Gray. What an intervention there from Timchenko.
Well, already this game is flipped into kind of FC Naples having to answer questions now. Westchester has been the one that has to kind of manage the next 10, 15 minutes.
If Naples can grab one from this Ice Air corner kick, the entire tenor of this match changes in a blink. It's Tereas over it. Corners tonight presented by Ice Air, keeping Westchester cool and comfortable. They'll be anything but cool or comfortable if they can conjure another from this. In-swinger from Tereas. It was flicked along. Ultimately fell kindly and scrambled away by Dean Guzin.
And this is always your biggest fear when you have a side that takes kind of a commanding lead into the break, because not that you go in and don't make any adjustments, because we do see the 2 substitutions for Westchester, or the 1 substitution, sorry. But you tend to just be a bit casual in some of the approach.
Long throw from Cisneros. Jimenez out of trouble. May have hit a player's hand. It's just a question of who. Appears it's against Naples, and Zach Gordon seems less than thrilled. I have to wonder what the team talk was like from him at halftime. Whatever he said, if the first 5 minutes are any indication, it's clearly worked.
And I agree, and I think for them, it's just not living in neutral in the final third. They've kind of lived in that indecisive kind of space where they've got numbers in those areas and in probably dangerous pockets of space, but they just have not been able to unlock or move that final defender. And whether that's on the dribble or some of the link-up play, they have just not been sharp in those moments. And we saw it with drawing the penalty. You drive and dribble, you force defenders to make a decision. It's a bit of what they lacked in that first 45.
Andres Farine is known for his ability to be direct. And that time, the ball to Taylor Gray skips across his feet. Well, fan soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek, your ticket to great seats. Jennings heads that out of danger. Just can't keep the second ball in play.
And so much of the time when you're the team that goes into the break down the 3 goals or however many goals you've conceded in that break, you kind of get those looks and kind of that thought of, we've got to score 3 goals. Well, the talk is they just did it to us, so we go ahead and we could score 3 goals in the second half. So it's completely doable, but now it's about how you dominate those phases of play.
McGlynn, a 4th would all but kill it off at this point.
And that's a great point. Defensively, you do need to be very tidy because you are playing on the thinnest of margins. You cannot concede the 4th.
Powder. Westchester starting to settle on it and take the sting out of things. Noah Powder. Quick turn. Now McGlynn with Evans to his left, and he uses him. Here is Kyle Evans. Now cuts it back to Jimenez. Always rising. They won't sit back and absorb the pressure.
That's just not in their DNA and not in the way that they play. What a threatening ball played out of the back, and it leads to all this. And maybe for Kyle Evans, you probably prefer maybe Tim take that positive touch into space because he has kind of eliminated some of the defenders with where he was positionally played. But it just also goes to showcase how much attention he drags with him along that side, opens up that pocket of space for Jimenez.
Now they look forward again, and Evans once more has the ball with some space to operate. Has a runner in support. Can't find McGlynn though, and it's quality defending from Cisneros. You hear the applause from the 914th Infantry. They know that this is far from over, and effort plays like that will certainly endear Kyle Evans to the supporters. Look at the scoring summary for the moment. 3 different goal scorers across 8 minutes for Westchester in the first half. But Andres Farine, 2 minutes after the restart, paving a way back into it for Naples. It was always audacious from Cisneros.
Well, with that goal coming so early for FC Naples, what it's changed is the overall pressure of this match from both sides. Obviously, Westchester kind of looking more to navigate the next few moments. They've done a tremendous job of that, but still not getting enough pressure off a ball like that.
It's a well-weighted ball from Powder. Guzin nearly caught up to it. Instead, Osorio muscles him away.
So you got that much-needed breakthrough to put pressure on Westchester, but you're still defensively leaking and providing a lot of space for Westchester to go at you and go find that 4th goal. Saw it with Kyle Evans to that ball to Jimenez. We've seen it with that ball, that vertical ball just a moment ago. So you've got to tighten up where that pressure is coming from in the middle third of the field.
Here's Farine, flashing that layer of directness and still charging forward. Now Gray, first time cross, but far too tight on Marinelli. It's better though from Naples, and it's far more incisive than we saw in the first half. They may leave themselves a touch exposed. That will be the game of cat and mouse that Zach Gordon's men have to play. You have to open it up, but you can't leave yourself too open the other direction, and that's the point you were getting at moments ago, partner.
Farine for FC Naples has come on and been electric, coming off that game winner against AV Alta.
On that goal, Lalo Delgado provided the assist, booted the ball from a goal kick directly into his path. It's not often you see a goalkeeper get on the score sheet in some capacity, but Delgado did. Timchenko, that was too physical from Kyle Evans. Gives us a chance to let you know that Westchester Soccer Club is excited to partner with Redefined Meals, our go-to destination for fresh, healthy prepared meals. Scan the QR code on screen for a free meal at Redefined Meals in Hartsdale.
Well, it's funny you bring that up, partner, because when doing the prep for this game, kind of looking at the statistics, I kind of did that before I watched the FC Naples match against AV Alta, and you look at it and you see Delgado with an assist and you go, wait, what? And you're trying to go through the previous matches and it's right there in front of you. So when I go rewatch the game, you're just like, oh, there it is. It's a game-winning assist. What a performance in that match, and they're going to want to replicate that in this second 45.
Farine, he was on the receiving end of that Delgado assist. Charges right into Jennings, who defended that rather admirably. It's got to be an interesting trivia question. How many times has a goalkeeper been on the score sheet in either as a goal scorer or an assister in USL League One? Requires someone to delve deep into the record books.
Yeah, my research stopped right at that moment. First, I thought I kind of read it wrong, and then I watched the game and I saw that. And then, but to your point, what a list that would be.
Jennings looks long for Evans, who was fouled, and the referee comes back to that now. Well, oddly enough, we do have an answer to that question. Lalo Delgado became the 5th goalkeeper in USL League One history to record an assist last week, courtesy of the weekly notes provided by the USL. So they were on top of that. There's a direct ball to Miglietti, and that's pounded out of play. We are hearing word that Chris Garcia is warming up to enter for FC Naples. Player tip to make way as things stand is currently Taylor Gray. And that is the next chess piece that Zach Gordon will move on to the board. You mentioned needing more incision and more directness in the first half. They've brought on their 2 most direct players now once Garcia enters the fray. Long throw for Miglietti. Jennings got there first, and it's poked away before it can reach Cisneros. Now Osorio. Sit back in. Powder out of danger. Sis. Farine has a crack. Was always rising, but he didn't miss it by much. You're seeing the Andres Farine effect in full metal here.
A player that is playing with one thing on his mind is how quickly he can go to goal. Mentioned Connor McGlynn and his ability to influence a game in a multitude of ways, and Farine has just done just that. Obviously drew the penalty driving into the 18-yard box, but has also now got himself on the ball from distance, kind of showcased his ability to strike from there.
McGlynn made himself an obstacle and may have paid the price. They will come back to the fallen Westchester captain. There will be a change made. There is Chris Garcia. Has been a regular in the lineup for the bulk of this year, but coming back from a slight knock the last couple weeks, and so he's in for Taylor Gray off the bench. A a quartet of tallies that paced all Naples players entering the evening. He's now level in goals with Andres Farine. And Gray had his moments, but it unfortunately was not the most impactful performance for him. So Garcia, someone with experience, most recently at Ford Madison. Prior to that, spent time in MLS Next Pro. Also made 17 USL Championship appearances back in the day with El Paso Locomotive. Very talented player that was brought in to provide more pace and directness on the flanks. Remember, Naples lost their leading goal scorer, Carson Henderlund, to the championship this offseason. And Matt Poland, when he was rebuilding the roster, mentioned how he wanted to bring in more pace and directness on the flanks to maybe counteract the lack of a true target man. And Zach Gordon brings him off the bench in this context. That flick on header does reach Jimenez, but he was a touch offside.
Anytime you're coming into a match as an attacking presence, you've had some time to see what spaces become available, what opportunities you're going to get, what looks you're going to generate. Mentioned Taylor Gray, he's been able to get himself on the ball a lot in those half spaces. So does FC Naples start to target those areas, create some of those overloads?
It's an errant ball. Now Farine again for Naples. Garcia.
I could never watch that
Lynn is
one.
there. Jennings rescues it from going out for a corner. Inside the final half hour, and it is Naples still desperately seeking another lifeline. They fell behind 3-0. McGlynn, Jimenez, and Elias all in the first half, but Farine from the penalty spot in the 47th minute, at least giving them some breathing room. Liculia, Cisneros, deflected cross. Guzin loses it out of play. It is another Naples corner.
This is a game that typically, if it still sits at 3-0, you're still very comfortable in the way you're defending, but you still have now these moments where you've got to be detailed.
Another Ice Air corner kick, this time for Torres. Ice Air keeps Westchester cool and comfortable. With outswing this time. Ran all the way through. And Guzin there first for Westchester. Perhaps a chance to break. McGlynn. Jennings inverting from right back at the moment. Vertical ball towards Guzin. He's in a foot race and he does win it. But Osorio was nearby and now he gives it away to Jimenez. Guzin laid off to Jimenez to McGlynn. Right at the goalkeeper Delgado, but that was slick.
And not the contact we're used to seeing from Connor McGlynn from that space, but seemed like he was falling away a bit. Go back to it, Kyle Evans has had some moments on the ball for Westchester, but you're just waiting for him.
Now Guzin looking for Jimenez, who rounds the goalkeeper. Forced wide. Jennings. Guzin again. It's a never-ending onslaught of counter-attacking prowess at the moment from Westchester. Jennings. And he commits the foul at the end of that. Well, fans, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From the grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice.
Yeah, you're just waiting for Kyle Evans to put his imprint on this match. Already 3 goals for Westchester, 3 different goal scorers. So a player in himself that can create for himself, but now some of that attention has kind of gravitated towards Jimenez. He's doing all of that. We're kind of occupying the center backs, and Kyle Evans, such quality
Here is Evans. Has definitely made a menace of himself and did supply that Jimenez tally in the first half. Bauman. Guzin. Well, so much has been said about all of the standout attackers for Westchester tonight, rightfully so, but Daniel Bauman is someone that George Jokai raved about leading up to this matchup this week. He spoke a lot about how Daniel Bauman naturally is more of an 8 or a 10, someone who likes to play further forward and get involved in the final third, but that really hasn't been his role this year. More of a deeper lying midfielder and has been even converted into a makeshift center back, including tonight. Someone who's so versatile as McGlynn clips that into the box, and it's headed out of trouble for now. Now Garcia. Boras there first. Immediately gives it back away to Garcia, who has one runner in support. Garcia slides it through. It's a real chance for Likulia, who was offside, and that chance goes by the wayside. I tell you what, this was a situation where the margins were awfully tight.
And these are plays that for teams are massive, as we see coming together along the sideline. For the team defensively, you get broken with that play, but you find the ability to stay collective in the way that you stay connected and forcing FC Naples to stay offside. Kulia able to time his run.
Bora intervening. But on the subject of someone like Daniel Bauman, had never played center back a day in his life before being converted into a central center back in the heart of a back three earlier in the summer. And George Jokai has said that he stepped into that role seamlessly. And for someone who had never played center back before, did a more than admirable job. And here tonight, had to step back into center back with Bobby Pierre suspended and Mo Williams still coming back from a knock. So he's filled in pretty seamlessly. You have to give him major credit for the way he's set aside his maybe goal-scoring aspirations for the benefit of this club and this team this year.
And just speaks volumes to not only the characteristics that he presents as a player, playing to those strengths, kind of making sure that those are highlighted in some of the big moments, but also just the overall professionalism in the approach.
McGlynn picks out Guzin. Guzin cuts inside. His shot was blocked. Garcia. Westchester is readying a change. Ermin Makic is getting set to enter. Evans. Under-hit it for McGlynn, but wins it back.
Let's go! Come on!
Noah Powder.
Come on!
Jimenez.
Push! Let's go!
Here's Garcia. It's going to come. It has to come quickly for Naples. Likulia not quite on the same wavelength as Miglietti. Change will take place now. It is Alexei Armas, who played 70 minutes after being limited in training this week. He's replaced by Ermin Makic. That likely suggests McGlynn will move deeper into that holding midfield role, with Makic having a little more freedom to go forward.
Yeah, sit in front of this back four, kind of screen passes, disrupt plays when necessary, but Armas not on the statistical sheet, but still, I mean, the work rate on and off the ball, the ground coverage, and the ability that he allowed for McGlynn and Elias on and off the ball was tremendous.
Armas is a player that George Jokai loves, goes back a long way with him because he's very tight with his father, Chris Armas, who also has coached at a very high level, coached with the Colorado Rapids pretty recently. George Jokai has said he's known Alexei Armas since he was literally a child and has watched him grow up and mature into now a 21-year-old professional who literally gives no inches on the pitch, is just a menace to contend with for every opposing midfielder.
And highlights positional play at its finest, just rarely gets pulled out of position, Armas.
There was a question over whether Armas would start tonight. He was dealing with a minor training knock, as you see Dean Guzin is booked for tugging the shirt of Gio Miglietti. But he played 70 minutes and looked like every bit of the Alexei Armas we're used to seeing every week.
That goes into trust and goes back to what I was just mentioning with the positional play. When you know you have a player that's going to sit in those pockets and be very disciplined, as we see Guzin and Miglietti coming together here, and Guzin picking up the yellow.
So Guzin enters the book for Westchester.
He's midfield.
Inside the final 20 minutes, and for those just joining us, we welcome you to Westchester County alongside the coach Eric Dobransky, Sam Goldfarb on hand. 3-1 to Westchester, scored 3 in 8 minutes in the first half. Andres Farine did provide a lifeline from the penalty spot shortly after the restart, but since the 47th minute, we've seen this as the status quo, and it has largely persisted. This is Luculia for Naples. Garcia. He's outwit by Jimenez, who is clipped at the legs, and Omar Sis will be the latest man to enter the book, surely. That he is.
And when you're playing on that fine line of needing to go after a second goal, but also not being able to concede a fourth, that's an important intervention there, and I know they're upset about picking up the yellow, but Sis coming off anyways, but minimizing what could have been very threatening attack from Westchester.
So it's Sis off. That's his last involvement for Alex Bulai Tudor, a native of Naples, Florida, who is a product of Barron Collier High School in the Naples area. That's a defensive midfielder off for an attack-minded midfielder, and that's a statement of intent from Zach Gordon. Well, fans, don't miss your chance to be part of the action when Westchester hosts Spokane Velocity at 7 p.m. on Saturday, August 29th. Tickets are on sale now. I'll tell you what, Eric, if you're watching this and thinking about whether or not you should attend a Westchester Soccer Club match, I think this answers your question.
Oh, 100%. I mean, I keep going back to the goal that wasn't scored, the Connor McGlynn take from almost midfield. I mean, it just shows how aggressive this team is overall. Have not been able to put those results into effect away from home, but they have been tremendous.
Everyone in the fucking field can see it. He plants, he throws his body back, and then he gets the foul call. That's poor.
Well, you heard his case there. Be best not to repeat it.
Yeah, that fourth official has been getting an earful from Zach Gordon. Clearly displeased with calls throughout this match that have kind of played itself into. You never are making those arguments saying that is what has kind of played itself out into the result itself, because you still know your team is out there having to make plays. But still, the consistency in both halves is what you're looking for. That's where Zach Gordon is feeling like this game is being left.
I think he just talked his way into the book. There's the ball in from Guzin. Bulai Tudor looking for an option the other direction. And he was fouled. To Zach Gordon's, oh, well, this may pop off. Kyle Evans was thrust down to the deck by Farine, and the referee may have a situation to manage here. Andres Farine could get a stern talking to from our lead official, Edson Carvajal.
That's where the fourth official and the assistant sideline official were right in distance of that play. That's always about kind of where their eyes were kind of trending. Side of the field are you looking at, because did you catch that play since it was away from previous.
Show me where the technical area is, please. Which color paint should I be looking at?
I mean, there's certainly enough in that for our referee to call a foul. And another set of changes will be made. Miguel Diaz and Charlie Dickerson will enter. So a double change for Westchester as they have to make these subs in timely fashion. It's Dickerson on for Noah Powder and a like-for-like swap. Meanwhile, Dean Guzin, who's on a yellow card, goes off for Miguel Diaz. Both pretty like-minded changes from George Jokai here, as our referee's trying to speed up the process of these substitutions. I think that's part of Zach Gordon's frustration here. Well, as we were saying, to Zach Gordon's credit, he's someone who has revitalized the way this Naples team's played. And it is a team that really has struggled to score this year. And they showed some signs of life against AV Alta. He said that in possession, since he's taken over, he's noticed more dynamism. He does feel this is a team that can make real inroads up the table by the end of the year. And while this result, more likely than not, will not go his way, his team has showed some spirit, especially since the restart. Cisneros is fouled there by Jimenez.
Agreed. This is a team that is trying to find that delicate balance between being that team that is threatening in the attack and that can go score goals, but also that is detailed defensively to the point where you are just difficult to break down, and your opponents know that it's going to take something special. And right now, that's kind of left them in that in-between.
There's a cross in from Farine. And now Farine on the turn. Slips it into the byline. First time cross deflected over, and it's a corner. Back to your point, partner.
And that's where they've just found themselves living. They're conceding too many goals, and in turn, they're trying to get themselves back into matches. So it just does not kind of placate to the way that you want to see matches play out and the temperature in which you want games to be played at.
It's another Ice Air corner kick. Ice Air keeping Westchester cool and comfortable. More target practice for Torres here. Arcs in, punched away by Marinelli. Fell to the edge of the area. Cisneros can't redirect it to a teammate. Chance not off yet, though. A low cross that is flicked in. And there is a real lifeline now for Naples. Liculia halves the deficit. Well, partner, this has changed fast, and Liculia makes it 3-2.
Well, this is off of a second and third wave of attack and generation from FC Naples. You get the quality drive, the delivery, then you get composure, the clever and clinical finish there. Game on.
Nicolas Liculia, the 30-year-old Paris native, scores his third ever professional goal. Someone who spent a lot of time in the lower leagues of the United States, be it in the NISA ranks as well as some of the other semi-professional divisions in American soccer. Signed a 25-day contract a few weeks ago, and he scores his first goal for Naples in very timely fashion. And just like that, that fighting spirit we mentioned that Zach Gordon has instilled in his bunch rears its head again. For all of Westchester's dominance in clinical finishing, as McGlynn goes for goal, didn't miss by much, almost on cue, they put it to bed. But for all of their clinical potential, we find ourselves in a closely contested affair.
And as this game is continuing to progress, in my mind, for Westchester, it was that 80th minute mark was kind of the key. If you could hold that 3-1 lead going into the 80th and beyond, obviously some of those key moments as you see time tick away and you concede before the 80th, now you're gonna feel some real pressure, because for FC Naples, what's the difference between conceding a fourth and going after the third?
They've given themselves a proper avenue back into this fixture, and still 10 minutes to play with in pursuit of what would be a highly unlikely equalizer. For those that have just joined us, Westchester led this match 3-0 at halftime. 3 goals in an 8-minute stretch. Looked like they had it wrapped up. Farine from the penalty spot on 47, and then moments ago, Nicolas Luculia, another substitute, striking with his first goal for Naples to make it a one-goal affair. And this is going to get very interesting between now and the 90-minute threshold.
Well, we touched on it early in the second half that kind of at that halftime break for FC Naples, you're down 3-0. You're a little shocked that you've conceded 3 goals in one half, but you also understand that you could do just the same to Westchester that they just did to you. Now, at that moment in time, you're kind of looking at it and saying, hey, 3 goals to go get a draw. But now you've put yourself in a position where if you could put your level in the next 5 minutes or so, you can go after all 3 points.
Keep in mind, this is a Westchester team that historically has struggled to preserve leads. Last season, a league record points dropped from winning positions was around the 38-point mark, which was by far the biggest ever margin in USL League One. This is a team that struggled in that regard. George Jokai obviously has overhauled the team to make it a little better suited to protect leads, but they are still joint third in the league in terms of points dropped from winning positions with 9. Not quite at the 30s threshold, but it at least adds that added storyline that at least might instill some nerves in Westchester fans, given what they've experienced over the last year and a half.
Well, to kind of instill a bit more confidence as well as for Westchester, they are 4-0-2 when leading at the half. Now, there's still a lot of stressful moments to kind of live out here, but they are also 5-0-1 when leading with 10 minutes or less remaining. So some key storylines that have kind of seen themselves play out in real time throughout the season, but there is still a lot of football to be played here.
Farine fouled, and an instant yellow card shown to Jonathan Jimenez. It's another player who has to watch himself between now and full time.
And I would also add that all that goes out the window when you have 2 teams playing with the desperation that these 2 teams would present.
If this holds, Westchester would go, at least in the live table, 7 points shy of the playoff line. Chattanooga right now on the live table on 29 points. They still have to see this out, which is a scenario we did not think we'd face in this fixture at intermission. Real credit to Naples, how they've gotten back into this. And on the subject of Naples and their goal scoring, during their 9-match losing streak, it scored just 8 goals. The last 2 games now, 4 goals. Zach Gordon has instilled something of a goal-scoring renaissance the last couple weeks. Farine looking to add to that, and it comes to the back post. Now a chance. Taken away, though. Garcia left it dangling. Well, fans, you can watch the USL Championship in League One on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. As Garcia strolls ahead, and that ultimately ricochets to the goalkeeper Marinelli. Changes both ways. Miglietti is set to exit for Naples. His replacement will be William Aravallo, who, remember, did score the lone goal the last time these 2 teams met on May 23rd. Osorio. Still a world of time for Naples to find an unlikely leveler. Here's Osorio again. Knocked away. Only as far as Uteritz, though. Here's Yearwood for Naples. Farine. Charging forward and draws multiple defenders. Too many white shirts in the vicinity. Kept in play by Bulai Tudor, though. Osorio. Knocked along, a real chance for Naples. Did that take a touch? The answer from our official is no. So it is Aravallo in for Miglietti. Meanwhile, Jonathan Jimenez will depart for Samori Powder, the younger brother of Noah Powder. And now, fans, this stoppage gives us a chance to let you know that the best way to spend a summer night is watching your local team with your favorite people. Check out Westchester SC's group ticket offerings, especially if you haven't experienced the new VIP area. So Jimenez off for Powder, that is Samori Powder. Gio Miglietti off for William Aravallo, who, as we just previously mentioned, one of his 3 goals came against Westchester in late May, the last time they met. That was the decisive goal to win it. Diaz, the other direction for Westchester, and he stood up there. Liculia, the most recent goal scorer for Naples. And Torres knocks it wide. Chris Garcia. Aravallo was looking back for Garcia, but Bauman was there. 4 minutes plus stoppage time separate Westchester from a key 3 points. Naples is 1 goal away from one of the most unlikely comebacks in USL League One.
And both teams seeking plays in different varieties. For FC Naples, do you go out and overcomplicate what you're doing in front of the, in and around the 18-yard box and in front of goal? They've done a tremendous job of kind of generating the overall numbers and volume that they did show in the first 45, but now stay true to what has caused havoc here in the second half, even though you see time ticking away. And then for Westchester, make the defensive plays when they're there to be made, whether they're high up the field, at midfield, in the defensive third, making sure that you're recognizing that moment.
Mentally, when you're 3 goals up and you see it unraveling like this, what type of toll does it take on you as a player?
Well, it's tough to not shift to the frustration part of it, because you go up 3-0, come into the second half, you feel like if you're professional about the performance, you're going to see this game out, but you also know that the opponent's going to come out and want to strike first. And right now, Westchester has struggled to kind of absorb those moments from FC Naples. But right now, you're just trying to preserve that 1-goal advantage, and then you can kind of deal with some of the frustration and maybe some of the breakdowns that you've seen in the second half. But definitely a learning experience in both halves, because you're flying in that first 45. I mean, you can look at that first 45. There's not many steps wrong for Westchester.
Dickerson commits the foul.
And that's a prime example of wanting to make a defensive play and just being a bit over-eager. Now you're having to deal with a set piece and a situation where FC Naples can just throw caution to the wind and throw a lot of numbers.
Floated forward by Torres. Marinelli off his line, and there's that proactiveness suiting him very well. Ticking towards the final minute of the initial 90, and then all eyes on our 4th official to figure out how much more and more stoppage time remains. More direct play from Naples. Farine reaches it, one-on-one with Dickerson. Dickerson wins that battle. Cisneros. Ulai Tudor, the 19-year-old. It's a dipping cross. Nearly reached Aravallo. Diaz doesn't clear convincingly. Liculia knocks along, and now Aravallo wide. Garcia driving it towards Cisneros, but caught between 2 minds perhaps. Had 2 players to aim at and didn't pick out either. Farine, the late hero last week. It's a menacing ball. Falls for Aravallo. Shot blocked, and finally away. And now all eyes on our fourth official. Injury time presented by Mar & Mar Attorneys at Law, fighting for every minute you deserve, and it is 5 minutes that separate Westchester from a key Snowbird Derby victory over FC Naples. There is still time and life for Naples.
It is going to be a nervy 5 minutes for George Jokai and his side. But when you look at it in its totality, for Westchester, if you plan to be a playoff team and you have those ambitions, you have to be able to see out matches like this. And so for George Jokai and his side, I mentioned the nervy part of it. Yes, there's going to be tense moments, but you also have to feel confident that if you feel truly that you are a playoff team and you can kind of...
Laculia, he fouled Kyle Evans.
And you can contend at that level, you've got to be able to see off one-goal matches.
To the point you just brought up, Westchester this season is 0-7 in games decided by a goal. This would be the first one-goal victory they've secured in league play all year if they can get it over the line. Now, it's important to note a lot of those defeats came away from home. Very few one-goal decisions they've dropped at home. The only two of note, one Knox on the opening night of the season, we were there for that, and then Boise at home on July 5th. This would be their first victory decided by a goal if, and that's a big if, they can reach 95+ minutes with the scoreline still intact. Farine, and now Laculia. Evans dives in and won it cleanly, and now he was fouled. And I don't think that will do much to quell the anger of Zach Gordon and his coaching staff on the touchline. It's been a frustrating night for them.
And not at all, because he's going to want that play right there. Kyle Evans getting himself on the ball and then absorbing the contact. And those are big moments here when you see precious time come off the clock, when you can get yourself a dead ball restart, take some time, do that, give a deep throw in.
We're already midway through the added 5 minutes. Zach Gordon's argument is you give the first foul and we have a free kick that we can put into the quarter of uncertainty. Makic outwits Yearwood. Makic is onside. Delgado to the rescue. That was a chance to seal it. Torres. Samori Powder pressing assertively. And Diaz doing his defensive duties as well.
That is fantastic. Not only have they been able to disrupt play with some of the free kicks they've earned and some of the interventions, but the pressure they're putting on, what a ball in.
Here's Cisneros, who does get there first, and the flag stays down, but it's a diving challenge from Evans to make the difference. He's known for his attacking prowess, but he does his defensive duties exceptionally well there.
And getting the credit from his teammates. I mentioned earlier, waiting for Evans to make an imprint on this match. He did have the assist, to your point, on the Jimenez goal. He's waiting for him on the ball to kind of strike and get a goal of his own, but what a defensive play. I mean, that is a player that is locked in, ready to battle for this result.
It's the final minute of the added 5. Nearing Naples' last gasp. Diaz, heavy touch. It's picked up by Garcia, but there was a foul in the process. And more chance for Westchester to milk precious seconds from this clock. Makic has a crack, it deflects. Delgado there to catch though, and this is surely Naples' last opportunity. Is there time for one final attack? Garcia bypasses one defender. Yearwood, beyond the added 5 minutes now. Vereen, is there one final bit of magic left in his boots? Vereen to the byline, crosses it, Aravalo back into the mix, away by Bauman, and there is the full-time whistle. For the first time this season, Westchester wins a fixture decided by a goal, and they secure a critical 3 points in this Snowbird Derby clash.
And was not the second half that they were looking for, but what an overall performance from Westchester from start to finish. Not all 3 points are created equal. And yes, you had a 3-goal advantage going into the break, but the ability to be resilient and challenging yourself in some of the bigger moments of this match. Credit to Westchester, they made big plays, and they pick up all 3 points, and a valuable 3 points as they try to make this playoff push.
A 3-goal first half is enough to power the Golden Apple to victory. Yes, they conceded twice after the restart, but they prevail in 3-2 fashion in this Snowbird Derby battle. We'll take a quick breather here from Westchester County when we return a look back at a 5-goal thriller in Mount Vernon.
At Redefined Meals, we're not just making prepared meals. We're redefining them and raising the bar for what they can be.
Every dish begins with real ingredients, crafted fresh each day, redefining what real cooking means for busy lives.
Discover over 70 chef-crafted meals, freshly made, thoughtfully balanced, and surprisingly affordable.
Good food shouldn't slow you down. It should keep you going. No prep, no stress.
Redefine the way you dine.
Raising health means elevating the care that we can get in our backyard. The Westchester Soccer Club is part of the United Soccer League that has now expanded into Westchester.
It's a brand new USL One team competing all across the country, bringing the love for the sport of soccer to the area.
Northwell is going to provide them the best care possible, going to the games, making sure that we're on site for each home game. If an injury pops up, we get those players in immediately.
The partnership between the Westchester Soccer Club and Northwell Health is very exciting.
Northwell's vision is to raise health. So we offer the full gamut of orthopedic services, serving the community in Westchester. That's where my family lives, that's where I live, and that's my purpose here.
Welcome back to Westchester County, where at the end of 90 minutes, we were treated to a 5-goal thriller. Westchester secures their first 1-goal decision of the season with a 3-2 triumph over FC Naples. And now it's time to get a look back at the 90 minutes that were in this second and final Snowbird Derby battle of the 2026 season. Eric, Westchester a strong first half, but the second half it nearly all slipped away.
Yeah, contrast of 2 different 45s from Westchester and FC Naples. Westchester absorbing some of the possession from FC Naples, but credit to Westchester defensively, just did not concede any big opportunity. Connor McGlynn opens the scoring off of that attacking corner, and then what a clever ball in played from Kyle Evans into Jimenez, who is no doubt about that finish, tucks it away left-footed, up 2-0, and then you thought things couldn't get much better, but they did. You get another second and third phase from an attacking set piece, and Elias there with the final touch off of the Guzin strike, and that ends up being the overall game winner in his first performance with Westchester. But we knew that we were going to get a response from FC Naples, and my goodness, we did. From the opening whistle to start that second half, we saw Vereen come in as a substitute. He earns that penalty, also converts that penalty. 3-1, we knew that there was going to be some tense moments from here on out, and then what a delivery and a finish there. Clever and decisive with the approach, makes it 3-2, and they just could not find that one other look at frame, and credit to Marinelli, he did a great job of organizing in front of him.
It was a clever finish by Luculia to make it 3-2. You look at the full-time stats, Westchester the better of the shots and the shots on goal, but oddly enough, what's not shown here is Naples actually had a slightly higher XG than Westchester tonight, but they fall in 3-2 fashion.
Yeah, it was a back and forth affair, and we knew it from the opening whistle that Both these teams came in with a game plan, and it was just going to be about efficiency and when and where they were effective in those moments. And Westchester made the plays and held on to that lead and picked up a massive 3 points.
So that is where we will leave everything here from Westchester County, where the Golden Apple ride the wave of a 3-goal first half buzzsaw to an arrow 3-2 victory. Westchester climbing within 7 points of the playoff line as things currently stand in the League One table. For our terrific crew and my broadcast partner, Eric Dobransky, I'm Sam Goldfarb saying so long from Westchester, where it finishes Golden Apple 3, Naples 2. Have a great rest of your night, everyone.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.